All right, update for week one of learning the accordion. I'll start with my lesson on Wednesday. So, went back, and first thing we did, sat down, just chatted about what was going right, what was going wrong, and ultimately just started out with reviewing what was on the practice schedule. And so, teacher recommended that I start playing at a slower tempo than what I was practicing at, and I mean, that helped clean everything up, so I just have to keep that in mind as I go through practice. So, as we were going on to the next page, I asked a question about reading bass clef. My background is in saxophone, and so that was always treble clef. I've never played an instrument that reads bass clef. I've played bass guitar, but I was always reading tabs for those. And so, I asked, how do I read these two staffs at the same time? Which was a little misinterpreted as into how do I read notes on the bass clef, but I got a really good insight on practicing learning how to read the bass clef. I know I can do some exercises on my own online to get a little faster in that, but we're just working with 2 and 3 chords right now, so it's pretty simple to recognize. What she explained to me is that sometimes you have to think about the bass clef as everything just shifted down a line on the staff. So, for example, when you're reading the spaces, usually in treble clef you learn faces in the space, but here on bass clef it actually goes A, C, E. So you're just missing that F because you moved everything down the lines there, and then the same thing applies on the lines. So usually it's every good boy does fine, but now it goes G, B, D, F, and then A at the top. So it's really just recognizing those notes at the top and just shifting everything down mentally in your line. So that was pretty insightful for me. We had some more discussions about different spaces between notes and where their history came from. And she said, this is something I normally wouldn't talk about my younger students, but a lot of adults find this interesting, in which it was. So then we moved on and we played the piece called Skating. I did work ahead in my practice week and practice that a little bit, but I was not super fluent in it. And so when we started playing the right hand and the left hand both on quarter notes, it can start to get difficult. And so she recommended, let's just play the right hand repeated each time and then add the left hand in. So you kind of get your right hand functioning, add that left hand in, and just complement it. And so she said, as you start working through these pieces, it's going to be really useful to just play your right hand, learn that, just play the left hand, learn that, and then slowly put those two together. After we went through that, she asked if I wanted a challenge for my practice this week and introduced the tune Go Away, which definitely has been a challenge. And really her words were just, be confident playing on only the right hand and only the left hand. Practice reading that bass clef with the left hand, and then put them together if possible, but not really worry if it didn't get done by Wednesday. And so after I'll call it 2.5 days of practicing after my lesson, that piece sounded something like this. So I was pretty content with my progress up to that point. I know I got a few more days before going back to lesson, and hopefully she'll be, um, taken aback by how well I could do that. But I know as I was practicing, especially today, and really trying to get a recording that I'd feel okay with posting. Obviously, there's still mistakes, but I just had frustration of either missing going to the wrong chord on the left hand. I know I need to work on my phrasing so it feels more comfortable because I think my left hand gets in a position where I can't play the notes as accurately because I'm just messing with the phrasing. I'm not going between. And she always recommends doing 4-bar phrasing. I'm sure that will change at some point. Sometimes it feels comfortable for me to do 8-bar phrasing, but I'm really trying to stick in and do the 4-bar phrasing. And then just my practice attitude. I have to know that accidents will happen, and that's how you grow. You make mistakes and you slowly correct them, and it gets better as time continues. So I'm excited to continue putting that together. And then I know I just looked ahead briefly in the book at what's coming, but she said, we're going to scoot through the rest of this book pretty quickly. And more and more chords are going to get introduced. She said they really keep you on 2 to 3 chords for most of the songs at the beginning. And then after that, it's just out to the races on what they make you play. So I know for myself, I have to really focus on actually checking that bass clef before going on in measures, and I know I'm slowly getting better at reading those, but because I know at some point these chords are just going to change, whether I'm playing majors, minors. He said it might be a long time until we play minors in the song, but I just need to get better at reading ahead and being prepared for those switches. So that is a quick update for week 1. Excited about the progress. Looking forward to the next lesson and what we're going to learn next.